The rise of masculine Stoicism. 8 habits of the modern Stoic man. Most men today are boys in adult bodies, not because they lack strength, not because they lack intelligence, not because life was unfair to them, because nobody ever taught them what it means to be a man. The Stoics knew exactly what separated a boy from a man, and it had nothing to do with age, nothing to do with money, nothing to do with status. It had everything to do with discipline, with character, with the daily choice of personal growth, becoming stronger than you were yesterday. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to give you the 8 habits that make that difference. These are not rules invented by self-help culture. These are principles that Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca lived by, and that the modern man has almost entirely forgotten. Most men wake up every day reacting to their phone, reacting to other people's opinions, reacting to their own emotions, reacting to whatever life throws at them first. They are not leading their lives. They are being pulled through them. A boy reacts. A man responds. And that single distinction between reacting and responding is where masculine stoicism and real personal growth begin. Here are the 8 habits. Habit 1. He controls his reactions, never his emotions. Most men believe that being strong means not feeling anything, that a real man doesn't feel fear, doubt, or pain. The Stoics knew this was wrong. Marcus Aurelius felt everything. He felt fear before battle. He felt doubt when making decisions that affected millions. He felt grief when people he loved died. He did not pretend those emotions did not exist. He trained himself through self-mastery not to be controlled by them. A boy feels anger and immediately acts on it. A man feels anger and chooses what to do next. A boy feels fear and retreats. A man feels fear and moves forward anyway. The first habit of the Stoic man is not the absence of emotion. It is emotional control. Because you cannot always control what you feel in the first second, but you can always control what you do next. Self-mastery begins here, in that space between feeling and action. Habit 2. He keeps his word. Always. A man's word is his identity. In Stoic philosophy, integrity is not a value among many values. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. A man who does not keep his word is a man who cannot be trusted, including by himself. Most men today treat their word as flexible. They commit when it is convenient. They cancel when something better appears. They promise without intention to deliver. Every time a man breaks his word, even in small things, he sends a message to his own mind. He tells himself, "I am not someone who does what he says." And that message accumulates until he no longer believes himself capable of following through on anything. This destroys mental toughness at its root, because mental toughness is not built in extreme moments. It is built in small, daily commitments, kept. The second habit is simple. Say less. Commit carefully. And when you commit, deliver. Without exception. Without excuse. Because the man who keeps his word to himself in private will keep his word to the world in public. Habit 3. He does hard things without announcing it. The modern world is built around performance, around showing others what you are doing, what you are achieving, what you are sacrificing. Men post their workouts. They announce their goals. They share their struggles publicly before they have done anything about them. The Stoics called this a trap, because the moment you announce something, your brain registers a small reward, as if you had already done it. And that reward reduces the drive to actually follow through. Marcus Aurelius never sought recognition for his discipline. He woke before dawn, wrote in private, trained in private, and governed with the same quiet consistency every single day. That is self-mastery in its purest form, doing the right thing when nobody is watching. The third habit is this: do the work in silence. The results will speak when they are ready. A boy needs others to see his effort. A man measures himself only against his own standard. Habit 4. He protects his time and energy ruthlessly. Time is the only resource that cannot be recovered. Every man is given the same 24 hours. What separates the disciplined man from the undisciplined one is not talent. It is how he chooses to spend those hours. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it." Most men give their time and energy to everything except what matters. They spend hours consuming content that adds nothing to their lives. They attend obligations that drain them without serving them. They say yes when they should say no, because they fear disappointing others more than they fear wasting their own life. Every time you choose to protect your time over seeking approval, you build a stronger mindset. Every time you say no to distraction, you say yes to personal growth. The fourth habit is learning to say no without guilt. To guard your hours the way a soldier guards a gate. To understand that every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that matters. Your time is your life. Protect it accordingly. Habit 5. He takes full responsibility for everything. This is the habit most men resist the most, because it is the hardest. It is easy to blame circumstances, easy to blame other people, easy to blame your upbringing, your environment, your bad luck, and sometimes those things are genuinely responsible for what happened to you. But here is what the Stoics understood. It doesn't matter, because the moment you give the cause of your situation to something outside your control, you also give away the power to change it. Epictetus was born into slavery. He had no control over that, but he chose, consciously and deliberately, to take complete ownership of his mind, his character, and his response to every situation he faced. That choice made him one of the most powerful and mentally resilient men in history, not because of his circumstances, despite them. Personal growth is impossible without this habit. You cannot build a stronger mindset on a foundation of blame. The fifth habit is simple and brutal. Stop explaining why things went wrong. Start deciding what you are going to do about it. A boy finds reasons. A man finds solutions. Habit 6. He speaks less and acts more. The Stoics were deeply suspicious of men who talked too much. Not because silence is always a virtue, but because most talking, especially about oneself, is a substitute for action. It is a way of feeling productive without doing anything. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the danger of empty words, about men who spend their lives in discussion, in debate, in endless planning, and never arrive at the moment of actual doing. Every time you choose action over comfort, you build a stronger mindset. Every time you replace words with results, you grow in ways that talking never could. The sixth habit is this: let your actions be the loudest thing about you. Do not explain your plans, execute them. Do not justify your decisions. Make them and live with the consequences. Do not describe the man you are becoming. Become him, and let others draw their own conclusions. Silence is not weakness. In a world that never stops talking, the man who acts without explanation is the most powerful person in the room. Habit 7. He trains his body as he trains his mind. The Stoics were not passive philosophers sitting in comfortable rooms discussing abstract ideas. They were physically disciplined men who understood that the body and the mind are not separate systems. They are one system, and the discipline you build in one transfers directly to the other. Marcus Aurelius trained physically, despite being in constant physical pain throughout much of his life. Cato the Younger was famous for his physical endurance. walking barefoot in harsh conditions, eating simply, sleeping on hard surfaces. Not as punishment, as training, because a man who cannot discipline his body cannot fully discipline his mind. Mental toughness is not built only through thought. It is built through physical resistance. Every time you push your body past where it wants to stop, you build the emotional control and mental resilience that holds when life becomes difficult. The seventh habit is non-negotiable. Train your body consistently, not for appearance, for self-mastery, for mental toughness, for the daily proof that you are someone who does hard things. Habit 8. He lives by a code, not by the crowd. This is the final habit, and in many ways, the most important. Most men do not have a personal code. They have preferences, opinions, and habits, but no clear set of principles that govern every decision they make. So when life becomes difficult, when the crowd pushes in a direction that feels wrong, when short-term comfort conflicts with long-term integrity, they have nothing to stand on. Marcus Aurelius spent years writing his meditations, not for publication, not for recognition, as a private exercise in defining and reinforcing his own code. Every page was a reminder to himself of the man he had decided to be, and a measurement of how closely his actions matched that decision. That is the deepest form of personal growth, not changing for others, becoming more fully yourself, on purpose, with intention, every single day. The eighth habit is this: define your code, write it down, live by it every day, regardless of what the people around you are doing. A boy follows the crowd because he has not yet decided who he is. A man walks alone when necessary, because he knows exactly who he is and what he stands for. These are the 8 habits of the Stoic man. He controls his reactions. He keeps his word. He does hard things without announcing them. He protects his time ruthlessly. He takes full responsibility. He speaks less and acts more. He trains his body as he trains his mind. He lives by a code. Notice something about every single one of these habits. None of them require money. None of them require talent. None of them require the right circumstances or the right environment. Every single one of them requires only one thing: a decision, the decision to stop reacting and start leading. To build emotional control where there was once only impulse. To build self-mastery where there was once only habit. To build mental toughness where there was once only comfort. To commit to personal growth not as a goal, but as a way of life. Marcus Aurelius wasn't born a Stoic man. He built himself into one through the daily, unglamorous, relentless application of these exact principles. You already have everything you need. The only question is whether you are willing to do what most men are not. If this video helped you understand what masculine stoicism really means, subscribe to the Discipline Code. This channel exists for one reason: to give the modern man the tools, the principles, and the daily practice to become the strongest version of himself through Stoic wisdom. And if you want to go deeper into the laws that build an unbreakable mind, watch this next. 8 brutal Stoic laws that will make you mentally unbreakable. Because a Stoic man is not just disciplined, he is unbreakable. And that is exactly what we built here.